You've been lied to. We've been lying to you. Women have been lying to you men. We want you to look at us. We want you to admire us. We want you to want us. It just has always been true. It's never been not true. It's something we think about a lot. And we're jealous of the ones who get your male gaze. And when we don't get your male gaze, some of us become resentful. But what does it mean? What is the male gaze? What does it mean? That has more to do with men's rights than you would think. Because it's more about, it's not just what you look at, it's what you guys think. It's what we think you're allowed to think. Even though that's what we want. It's so contradictory. Once upon a time, we weren't in charge of what you guys thought or said. Once upon a time, we were told to stay in our lanes. And I kind of think it's better, especially with all this talk about the male gaze. It's doing fine. We want you guys to want us. That is why you will see the OF girls say, oh, I would do this for free. And some of you may think, I don't believe that. Well, what was Instagram before women started getting really monetized off of it? That's all it is. We're not dumb. That's why as soon as it was socially acceptable, what did we do? We wore less clothing. Because guess what? That attracts the male gaze. And we like it. Just remember that when you're walking around, like, oh my God, he was staring at me. Shut up, you like it. And why do women say that? To brag about that a man was staring at them. We're lying to ourselves. And sometimes we believe that lie. That's the most dangerous for you guys, when we believe our actual lie. But at the core of it, nope, we want you. We want you to want us. So let's get into part 2 of all of this, because there are more juicy details about what us women are thinking and what I think. Anyway, I'm not fond. I'm not fond of it. I'm not fond of this author, and I will let you know what I think of her and what I would say to her if I was given the chance. So, welcome back to Far From Eden. So women need to stop lying and just, what's wrong with being attractive to men? Nothing. The only people that really hate it are the ones that can't get it together, can't pull it together. But most women can. If you give me a chance to give somebody a makeover, there's going to be a man out there that's going to say yes. It's too bad the female gaze isn't as charitable. The pendulum swings back and forth. Throughout history, when the pendulum swings one way, it tends to eventually swing back the other way. The same is true culturally. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. The narrative can do stuff, but it moves to the left for the most part. The narrative's like, it'll come back to the right, move to the left. A little bit to the right, move to the left. Because that's entropy. That's the devil on the move. But anyway, it doesn't swing back and forth. It always reverts to the truth. It's always going to come back to the truth. It's going to try to reset. And that's what a lot of men are waiting for. Just let's reset this thing. Let's just burn it down. A lot of men are thinking that. Although the male gaze has always been part of most cultures, there have been efforts to diversify perspectives, tell more stories, and bring women into the positions of power. Decades of fighting for women's suffrage in the United States found success in 1920, which kicked off a decade of some relaxation of restrictions on women. Yeah. Bring on the 304s. Instead of corseted dresses, women opted for looser fitting flapper frocks with a boyish shape. But in the 1930s, trends changed again, and women were in more feminine, cinched waists. What did I say? Gonna revert back to the mean? Is that what it's called? I don't know. But it's gonna come back to what it should be. Boyish dresses. We can get into the whole Weimar Republic and what was going on over there in androgyny. Like, it was androgynous, but it was far more naked. I love it when they're like, look, I'm so free. It's not about your gaze. Now let me take half my clothes off. I'm not about the gaze. Here, let me wear barely anything. For what? You think no one's going to look now? The things we say as women, literally, like the things we say, I don't know how you guys have lasted this long and made it this long before you finally threw your hands up and you were like, I just can't anymore. Because it's ridiculous. I'm embarrassed for us. I am embarrassed for us. And this Madeline lady should be embarrassed of this whole thing. When World War II broke out in 1939 and women were brought into the workplace in the 40s, fashion reacted with more functional utilitarian wear. Like, you're working in a factory. Yeah, it's not fashion, stupid. You're working in a factory. Whatever. My God. Sorry. It's really hard with all this stupid. Okay, functional utilitarian wear. But when the war ended, the women were forced out of the workplace. The full-skirted 1950s housewife was the new old ideal of femininity. Historically speaking, there's almost always a backlash after women have achieved something, said Dr. Catherine Struttle, lecturer of the marketing at Loyola University Chicago's Quinlan School of Business. Yeah, because women go out and do the thing that the overlords say we should do and say that we want to do, and then we do it and we're like, no, I want a family. I want to support my family and my husband. I want to work for my family. I want to raise my children. We go and do the thing because we're too dumb to realize that going and doing the thing is not what we're best suited at, and we don't like it. It's the same as why we're not in science and technology and all that stuff. We hate it. We hate math. Now, someone out there is going to be like, oh, I know this person. Yeah, my college roommate, before I dropped out, majored in math. She's a math genius, right? She's really good at that stuff. But I can still be like, we women, we don't like it. I went to Purdue University. Probably shouldn't dox myself or whatever, but there's not a lot of women engineers. You know where the women were? Liberal arts. You know why? They wanted engineer husbands. That's why I was there. That's why I was there. I told you guys I was tell you personal stories. So I went there, followed my boyfriend there, thought I was going to be a journalist and then in marketing, right? And I followed my boyfriend there. I could have gone anywhere. I had a full scholarship to a private college in the state where I was. So I went out of state to Purdue to follow my boyfriend because I thought we were going to get married. He had some wild oats to sow. Those are the exact words. And I couldn't, if he didn't want me, then he didn't want me. This is before the MS. But yeah, I followed him to Purdue. So here I am, a liberal arts student, and there he is, an engineering student. That's what we were there for. I even talked to women. I talked to women in my classes. One said to me, don't you just want to start your life already? Meaning, don't you want to go ahead and just get married and start having kids? And I said, yes, this is all dumb. I talked to several women like that in college. That's what we all thought. We're like, we're doing this thing because we kind of have to, because they told us we should. But like, let's just get married now. And I wasn't in some kind of like weird, cultish. We weren't like, I don't want to insult the Mormons, but we weren't that. We were just average women going to college. And that was the underlying current. But you could only like whisper it. It's still going on, you guys. Still going on. Okay. More recently, women started going to college at higher rates than men. The gender pay gap, well, college is a scam, so the guys aren't falling for it, started to close. Women started having children later. Alphabet writes, made stories, and body positivity pressed companies to diversify depictions of beautiful people, and no one wanted it. When Victoria's Secrets did it, no one wanted it. And that means us. It's not the guys. Not the guys. But those trends were followed by the recent retro popularity of trad wives and a resurgence of thinspiration, skinny legends, and what I eat in a day videos revived a restrictive beauty ideal on social media. No, it isn't. It's literal people just looking at TikTok going, yeah, I want to be thin. How do you do it? Because we want to be. They're telling us different. And then sometimes you guys think that we actually think different, but we don't. Oh, we want to look like Sydney Sweeney. We do. We do. We want to look like her in those jeans. We want to have the chest that's like in the jean jacket. That's what we want to look like that. Why? Because y'all like it. There, I said it. Using ality to sell, hanky-panky-ality. The male gaze, it's become a joke now, remains a profitable marketing tool, underlying many advertisements and the message that if only a woman could be more beautiful and appealing to men, they could find love, acceptance, and a better versions of their lives. Yes. All for the low, low price of these weight loss gummies or that workout program, these seductive undergarments or that new fragrance. I guarantee you this writer watches her weight, goes on diets and stuff. Come on. Don't tell all us to be fat so you can be the cute one. Don't try that, Madeline. I like to see what you look like without the makeup, the retouching, the camera angle, and a little chubby cheeks there, chica. I got my issues too. I just don't like it that she's trying to make the rest of us ugly and tell us that we should be. And that if we're pretty, we're somehow small-minded or selling the rest of us short. I will fight any woman that says that with my words. TV commercials for the fast food chain Carl's Jr. or Hardee's, depending on where you're from, used to feature models bearing skin while taking a big bite. I remember that. It started, Jessica Simpson. It started in the 90s with men watching a woman eat a burger in another building through binoculars. In 2005, Paris Hilton's ad showed her washing a car in a bikini. And celebrities including Kim Kardashian, Audrina Patridge, and Kate Upton. Ooh, Kate Upton's really pretty. Kept building on the commercial's blueprint until about 2017. Yeah, because it works. You were a woman and you think, if I eat this, it's kind of hot. Like we think that way. Oh, that's funny. That was when Carl's Jr. changed to focus the food to market the restaurants. Many advertisers had stepped away from so obviously telling women they should buy a hamburger or other products to make themselves appealing to men. Yeah, I wonder how many government subsidies they got to change their advertisement. And I wish back then we did what we did with Cracker Barrel and Target and Bud Light. And you know why we didn't, I think? Because men hadn't figured out all together, because they weren't talking to each other online like they are now. They weren't figuring out, hey, don't shove this down our throats. We're not taking this anymore, because MGTOW is bigger than walking away from women. MGTOW is about walking away from a society that hates you and a culture and a system that's rigged against you, where you're not going to get hired. You're going to be told it's your fault. You're bad. You're going to get Me Too'd. The men are like, this is baloney. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not going to, join in your lies. Like many generations before. The company GoDaddy launched its first commercial in 2005 when a model stood with the company name across her chest of her tank top. before the strap breaks and she has to save herself from a wardrobe malfunction. The advertisements continue to feature beautiful, um, you know, hanky-panky women, sometimes a bit of confusing choice for a website and marketing services company until 2013 when GoDaddy started to transition away from a strategy of scandalizing and toward a more inspirational and sophisticated approach, which is so funny because on one hand, they'll say all this. On the other hand, they will say that, taking your clothes off and dressing scandalously is empowerment. The OF chicks, what are they doing? They're taking off their clothes. They want the male gaze. They get paid to get the male gaze. The OF girls do. And that's empowerment. So I guess it's only empowerment when you are kind of like a 304 and you're like, you can look at me, but you better pay me. With these feminist chicks, with all their empowerment, you can do whatever you want. Are they going to say that to the OF girls who want the male gaze? It doesn't work. There's no logic here. Weird. Weird that women aren't noticing that there's no logic here. Maybe we're not good at that. That goes back to the whole math thing. Facts are difficult. Let's see where I am here. Oh, Lord. Debate over a woman's role. We just have like a teeny bit left. There's an ideological gap between women and men. Oh, here we go into the politics, right? Particularly younger men. Here you go, Gen Z guys. Gen Z guys are going to save Christendom. Younger men. When it comes to men wanting to adhere to more stereotypical gender roles, according to research from Ipsos. This year, Facebook's founder, Mark Zuckerberg, said that the corporate world has become culturally neutered. I thought he was culturally neutered. And generally, offices need more masculine energy. Remember when he, not that long ago, tried to have this, makeover and go on Joe Rogan and be like one of the cool bros? He started realizing, he'd like a little female gaze. Meanwhile, both fringe influencers and more mainstream role models have taken to podcasts and social media to assert that women should be responsible for homemaking and men for protecting and providing. Yes, but real homemaking. Real homemaking, not, trad wife baloney. Kansas City Chiefs player Harrison Butker, remember him? I covered this. Spoke at a college commencement in 2024 and told the women that they have been told lies about their futures and probably were more excited about being wives and mothers than taking on careers. That's not exactly what he said. And also, he was speaking at Notre Dame, a Catholic college. And figurehead of the online manosphere. Wait a second. And figurehead of the online manosphere, Andrew Tate, has preached male dominance and female submission to young boys. Young boys. 8-year-olds? Yeah. He probably saved lives doing it. Who cares if male is the main viewpoint? If women want to be trad wives and men want to see a sexy sidekick in their action movies, why not let them? Indeed. The concern isn't a woman baking in her finest pearls or wanting to be sexy. That is fine, and she should be allowed to do that, Sayer said. There are real-life implications, however, when spreading a message that women should only strive to please men and men should only see the women in their lives as in one way. I don't know that that's what we're doing. I don't dare do that. I just say this is what's best. This is what has worked for all of history. So they just hate that people know the truth. That's what they hate. Often the traditional beauty standards put forward by the male gaze are unrealistic. They favor thin bodies that few people can maintain in a healthy way. That's baloney. People were thin forever. They just don't want to give up their Twinkies. I mean, Twinkies are good, but, you got to have discipline. Oh, prioritize whiteness. Okay, we're going to be racial. And usually the standards prioritize whiteness. Joyrich added, women who don't naturally meet those ideals are left struggling to win a competition stacked against them. I'm sorry. Did you just say? I can't even say what she insinuated there because that is racist, young lady. You are racist. You said that it's whiteness, and some people just can't strive to that. Oops. Oops-a-daisy. Oops-a-daisy, Madeline. Both men and women who should feel empowered to do what is right for themselves, whether that's climb the corporate ladder or stay at home as a parent. Yeah, men should be allowed to do what's right for themselves. And men should be allowed to be empowered. Do you want the lights to go off? Because as soon as the men aren't doing that, we're in a whole world of trouble. The male gaze also limits men in what encourages viewing women as objects rather than complex, multidimensional human beings. Men do that. Good Lord. Oh, they just hate men so much. In a world where male loneliness is a crisis, the isolation problem gets even worse when the culture tells men that women, about half the population, are for beauty, hanky-panky, and running a household, and are not viable options for real emotional connection and partnership. No one said that. Not one person said that. Not one man said that. When a man, you guys tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me in the chat if I'm wrong. When a man wants a woman because he finds her beautiful, he wants to have the hanky-panky with her, and he would like him to run his household, have his babies, he definitely wants a real emotional connection and partnership with her. Shockingly, Madeline, you probably don't know. I feel sorry for her husband. You don't know this, Madeline, but men have that emotional connection with their wives during hanky-panky. I guess maybe she doesn't. Maybe women don't these days, but men do. So, Madeline, you're wrong. You are wrong. Changing the male-led narrative. If you want more full and rich stories about people at different genders, races, cultures, and orientations, you have to engage with art. People don't. We don't. Stop forcing it on us. We don't. There's no shortage of fun, meaningful, interesting, and high-quality movies and TV shows, but nobody wants to watch them. Oh, she's given a whole list of things to watch and see that nobody wants to watch and see. Steel Magnolias is kind of good. But the new thing of Little Women's not good. Nobody wants to watch this. No one wants to watch this. Seeing women be the heroines of the action instead of, as Reese Witherspoon cited when talking about launching her production company, helplessly asking, "What do we do?" is also important. For that, I can turn to everything, everywhere, all at once. No one wants to watch this stuff. No one wants the female action star. Even the women don't. It's just not realistic, too. And it's teaching some young women like, oh, yeah, women are just as strong as men. Yep. She's just going on and on. You don't even have to read all that. When women sign on to the male gaze, although the concept of the male gaze originally came from film and has expanded to television, art, and literature, it is deeply connected to finance. Here we go. Let's get to your wallets, guys. Let's talk about your wallets. When the prevailing perspective in stories, art, and advertising is white and male, then those who don't align with those identities have less power, she said, and no one is immune from societies and cultures in which they live. What does that have to do with finances? Women sometimes turn the male gaze on one another. Yep, it happens when they objectify themselves, promote traditional gender roles as the ideal way of living, and enforce beauty standards for others. Yes, I am, and I will. Thank you. Sometimes women think it is empowering to utilize the male gaze. There you go, the OF girls. Or to make a living in society that profits financially off their exploitation, and others do it to feel in control, Joyrich added. I might as well sell my own sexuality before you do, she said. Yeah, who are you selling it to again? That's the male wallet. That's where the female gaze is, in your wallet. But still, it's large corporation that profit most. Like the big movie companies? Yeah, maybe, but the actresses get paid. Silly. Dominant perspective most of the time. Yeah, it's going to be the male gaze. Yeah, it's going to be the male gaze. Male gaze came back roaring this summer. Yeah, it did. Good. Good. And it is because of Gen Z. It is, they've said, you know what? We're sick of this. We're sick of this. We like what we like, and we're not going to apologize anymore. And guess what happens? The women have started to correct. That's why these articles are being written, because they're mad. And you know what I think, Madeline? I think maybe you have no children, and you might be mad about it. You might be mad that you made a career choice over a family. I'm looking at her picture right now. You chose a career over a family. You're only just now married. You have a very low chance of ever having children, because I'm kind of assuming you don't already. And you're mad. You're mad. You chose wrong. And rather than say, I chose wrong, you're doing this. I will say, I chose wrong. I chose wrong, you guys. I got MS when I was 22. I had it before that, but I got diagnosed when I was 22. And I was like, I can't put this on anybody. Because even though they might say, oh no, it doesn't matter to me, I was like, they won't want to deal with whatever it is in 20 years, 30 years. Here I am 25 years later. They might not want to deal with it then. But what I've learned is, yes, the disease got worse. But men are far better than I was ever taught that you are. I was taught, oh, they'll just leave. And I didn't want to be a burden. I didn't want to be left. What I've learned is, if I had chosen, if I had given y'all credit, then I would have gotten married and had a family. But I chose wrong for different reasons, but I still chose wrong. I didn't prioritize it. I prioritized my own ideas of what the world is or how men think, rather than ask them and listen to them. And these women want to say, well, yeah, but it's the male gaze. You know what they mean? The male opinion, the male thoughts, the male needs, wants. It's not about the gaze. It's that your thoughts, feelings, needs, wants don't matter. And if we think it matters, if we think you matter, then there's something wrong with us. That is what is at the heart of that article. It's that, how dare we consider what you guys like? And how dare you like something that isn't what we want, how we want to be seen, even though it isn't the way we want to be seen. It's still trying to tell men what they should think, what they should want. That's at the heart of it. So thank you guys. Hope you guys stuck out the whole thing, but I think it was a good conversation to be had. I think absolutely when they write that crap, somebody should tear it apart and set her straight. One day I'll get the chance to talk to some of these people and tell them to their face how wrong they are. And how dare they? How dare they say that the male gaze is just, it's bad. You're wrong, you're bad. That's what they really want to say. So go ahead, Madeline, say it to my face. Because it's incumbent upon us women to right the ship. It's our fault. So, oh, you guys, in all this mess, can't wait to get my camera fixed instead of using the computer camera. But anyway, that's a side thing. Oh my gosh, protect your peace. Feed your souls. I love you guys. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.